Hello, everyone. It's Nicole Dennis here from theparentpreneur.com, and I am here with the amazing Kaye who is, become a good friend of mine over the last several years when I got to start working with Kaye. So I just wanted to bring Kaye on and get Kaye to share her amazing story with us, because Kaye, her whole life has really changed so much since I've known Kaye. And I thought it would be great for all of you to be able to hear about that as well. So welcome, Kaye, and thank you so much for having here. So what I thought, it's great to have you here. So Kaye is in Melbourne. I'm in Bribie Island in Queensland. So we've got to be together quite a lot of times in person and do lots of different trips together and different things. But we, of course, haven't seen each other for a while since COVID and the global pandemic. But I first met you, Kaye, in 2015, and I didn't really know you very well. You didn't really share at that time what was going on in your life, but you have since shared with me that you were really struggling financially at that time, and it put you in quite a difficult and challenging situation. Do you want to share a bit about that time in your life and, how it made you feel and the difficulties that you were facing? I know it might be a little bit hard to talk about because it was very challenging.
Well, it was. I'd actually come out of a corporate job, and I got burnt out. So I was looking for other work, and I needed to work because my husband's job was it was looming that the business would have to close because a lot of things were going offshore, and eventually his business did have to close. So I really wasn't, things were like really tough. Like, I mean, you couldn't go to the supermarket without looking to see whether you actually had the money to actually buy some things. And, sometimes you're only down to $20 for the week. So, yeah, it was pretty tough.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel? So, because you kind of spoke about you were really struggling and you had to sometimes just have soup and.
I did. It was like, yeah, okay, to get through, you just had to. Luckily, I cook, and I love cooking. So I was stretching meals out. We were making soup and bread, and yeah, it was stressy, and having to, that was the part that I didn't really like, and it was also stressful for the family. We were all going through it together in various ways, and sometimes you don't, the ramifications of the dynamics and everything of everybody rubbing off each other when you're in that situation. And I had the kids still, at home at that stage, and they're wanting to bring partners home and things like that, and having to do meals. That was like, oh God, how am I going to do it? I didn't want to feel like a scungy mum, but yeah, we just had to limit it. But they understood. So yeah.
Yeah. And that fight, obviously when you have a lot of financial stress, it usually results in relationship stress because people's tempers are frayed and you just take that out.
Something that was $5. That's fine, because it was like
not a nice way to live. And so, you're kind of at the age where you're also looking to, not be in a full-time job and things for many more years. So how was that making you feel? Were you feeling anxious about your future and stuff because you didn't really see a way out of it at the time?
Yeah, I mean, we had twice. We actually we were thinking of having to sell the house. That wasn't it. And I love the community. I love where I am, but having to have that looming, and then thinking, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, it wasn't good at all. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And so your mindset was not in a great place at that time, obviously. You were.
Definitely not. You're just living one day to the next. And as I've shared before, it's like, we had to have extensions on, bills and that I didn't like answering the phone. It was pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So you came to an event that I ran in Melbourne. I flew down to Melbourne and I came and ran an event for a good friend of yours, and you came along and you somehow scraped together some money to get some of the products that I was talking about, which is a new transformational health technology. And you had some really great results with your dad with like a skin issue and things like that. But I think it was pretty quick that you decided you were going to like jump on board and pursue this as an opportunity to, you know, create an income and things for yourself. So what was it that you saw that made you go, I'm going to try something that's new and different and maybe a bit scary, and you just sort of like jumped in feet first and got going?
Well, it was the curiosity that got me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I knew my dad was suffering, so because he had lesions all over his face that would have to get cut out, and it was he didn't enjoy life because he was embarrassed with these. And so I thought, okay, I'll start with Dad. And he was my guinea pig, and he ended up becoming my poster boy. So that was, he got very good results. And from that, I thought, oh, okay. I stood, up and took notice of this. And then I had other friends that knew me, knew my dad, and they knew things weren't photoshopped or anything like that. So that really got me. And then it was the excitement that and other people came on board, and then it was like, oh, okay, I could probably make some money out of this. This could become a business. So originally it wasn't. It was just to help Dad and just the curiosity. And I was like, there's something in this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I love that your dad became your poster boy. So that was really amazing to see that. So you have been able to create a great business. You have lots of people that have been impacted by you sharing, and people all around the world, in Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, in particular. So this has allowed you to have a pretty substantial income that you get paid every week, and it's consistent. So I know that you kind of like did casual work and different things before, and your income's like really inconsistent, and you don't know how much is coming. There's no security. And so you spoke a little bit about how has that changed things, knowing that you've got like kind of like this pretty standard amount coming in every week that is, enough to take care of everything that you need and have some left over.
Yeah, well, that is just, it's like polar opposites of what I had. And to actually know it's predictable and it's coming in, it's just amazing. And this Christmas was the first Christmas in I don't know how many years, long time, that I was able to put food on the table that I wanted. There was no holds barred. We had oysters and seafood, and it was really good. And then also I was able to gift my adult children and their partners and my husband gifts. That was, that was unheard. We just didn't do that. Like, that was pretty cool. So it's no longer going to the shops, just looking at what I can buy or whatever. It's just, okay, I'm going to make this recipe. I need these ingredients, and I just go and get them. I mean, there's within reason. I don't lash out every week or anything like that, because I still remember what it was like, so that there's that tendency to still keep me curbed, like structure a bit. But I'm life is nowhere near like it was. I'm just so much more relaxed. Yeah.
So let us know if you can relate to this, like what Kaye is saying. And I mean, that must have been a big transformation for how you felt, Kaye, as a wife and as a mum, to be able to do that for Christmas. Just, we all, it's a important time of year to a lot of people here in Australia, and to be able to do that, put on the food that you want, to buy gifts for your family is, it's definitely something that I love to do. And you, how did that transform how you felt, I guess, about yourself being able to do that after so many years of not being able to do it?
It really was. It was just amazing. And both my adult children was like, Mum, we don't give presents like this. Like, you know, they were like taken back. They were they were pleasantly surprised, but they was like, well, we don't normally do this, Mum. And I was like, please let me do this, because I'm in a position where I mean, it wasn't outlandish, but you know, it was giving them something that I knew that they were wishing for and they were saving up for. So, you know, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so nice. It's so nice to be able to, you know, the people that are close to you and that you really care about, to be able to do things.
And I appreciated it too. So that was good. Yeah.
And so this, like with you know, you building this business, you know, and I've got to work with you a bit doing this, and we've also got to travel together. So we have been overseas together, and you actually went on your first overseas trip and took your husband, and it was paid for by our company. Now, did you ever think like you were going to get overseas and do this thing? And it was pretty fancy.
I never had a passport. And, you know, I didn't have a passport because we didn't travel, we didn't do anything. I mean, we did a lot of camping, and I've seen a lot of Victoria. But, you know, we didn't go overseas. So my husband and I had to get, he actually had his passport, but he only had to go to New Zealand for work and back. That was it. So apart from that, you know, we didn't have it. So we had to go and get new suitcases. It was a whole new experience. And it was just like, we kept pinching ourselves. It was just like, yeah. And of course, I didn't do it in halves. We did it in 5-star. So that was pretty awesome. And that just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think you're going to do another trip this year, right, in Australia with the
Well, I had 2 overseas. We did have another one I qualified for last year, but of course COVID changed that. And then I've qualified again for another one for this year, but we're going to do both combined together, and we're going to want to go to see a bit of Australia. So it's just like my husband's like, where are we going next?
Yeah, in 5-star too, right? Not camping, not in a tent.
Yeah, so
I'm like more for the glamping. I did a lot of camping when I was younger. I'm more for the kind of glamping now.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I can go feral. I really do. I do like camping. I have, you know, if you've got everything with you and everything, you know, it's pretty low key, but I can do the 5-star pretty well too.
Yeah. Last time I went camping, I went glamping, and we actually hired one of those like luxury bell tents, and it was all set up for us, like the mattresses. We went to this festival, it was all set up, so we just like rocked up, and it was awesome. I was like, this is fantastic.
That was the present that I'd actually given my son, and his fiance was a few nights in one of those glampings this year, and so they're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
It's pretty fun. Like it's like all the nice nature bit with like out any of the like putting everything, like spending ages like packing your car and putting everything up, and then cleaning it all and putting it all away when you get home. So yeah, I'm quite the fan of the glamping. So, you know, obviously, like your perspective, like from 2015 to 2021 is really different. And a lot of people right now really are struggling. You know, I think the global pandemic has probably changed like parts of our economy and our industry for at least the foreseeable future, if not forever. So how do you feel about your future now, Kaye? Like, because you know, considering you're in this pretty dark place to like now.
I'm in a happy place now. You know, I would say I'm really, really hoping, and I'm working towards retiring my husband at least 2 days by the end of this year, because you know he's been doing it tough too. So it would be because you know we're in retirement age. But I love people, and I love the product, and I love the business. So there's, you know, and the people, and it's just a conglomerate of everything. It's just the best feeling to know that you're supported, but you also have that income coming through, and that I'm actually helping people, with a sustainable future as well.
Excuse me, a little sneeze. I muted myself, so we didn't all have to hear that. So what would you say to people, Kaye? Because, you know, you were in this place where, you know, you were feeling a bit sad and lost. And there's a lot of people in the world that are feeling that right now. They're feeling sad. They're feeling lost. They really got a lot of uncertainty. Maybe like their industry has been really affected by the pandemic. But there are opportunities out there. There are things where you can, take charge and really like change your life in a short number of years. So what would you say to people that are feeling, maybe the way that you felt in 2015? What would your advice be as someone who has like been through that process of, really changing their life?
It is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight, but with the support of the company, the growth of yourself, and the products, they speak for themselves, and it's just a way of sharing. But definitely, you don't know who needs your product, who needs a product as a business, who needs a product to help themselves in their health challenges. That people used to say to me, "We didn't know you had that because you're always happy," and you're always like, "Yeah, but that was just me. I put that persona, but you don't want to walk around like all the time." But there's other people out there that will probably be hurting because of what they've, that the last year has done to them financially. So if you just put your toe in and try and work it, because you never know who you're going to come across that may like to work the business with you, alongside you, or, and bring in their friends and their business colleagues. So I've got amazing people under me, and I've got one particular woman who's just a dynamo, and that she wasn't even brought in by me. She was brought in by somebody else. So, it's just consistently just talking to people, and you never know what's going to happen. Yeah,
that's true.
I would never have known that this was possible. If you had said to me, "This is what would happen," okay, yeah, right. You're joking, it's like little old me, and it can happen. And you just have to stay. You have to be present and keep slogging. Or it's not easy. It's not handed to you on a plate. You do have to work it. But now I'm not working it as much as probably what I did when I first started. And because it was new too, and you're learning new things. You're learning about yourself. You learn how to tell a story, how to work your business, and how to incorporate and how to help the people that come on board, so that they get a good experience. So, and with the help of yourself and Justin, your husband, and other team leaders within the business, it's just amazing. And I mean, everybody draws on each other. And I've been able to help people, but they've been able to help me as well. So it's just amazing. I mean, I'm very, very, very blessed.
That's awesome. I love it, Kaye. And I think that was really important. What you said is, don't assume, that like what's going on for someone, because it was not until many years later that you actually told me and shared with me how, challenging your life was. And you're pretty much dead broke, right? Really, you're pretty much, and I didn't even know, even when you sent a text to Justin, my husband, before Christmas, and said this is the first Christmas you've not had to worry because of what you had spent, the last 4.5 years working on. I didn't really know the depths of that. So people often they do present this persona of things are all great, but they don't really connect deeply and feel like that they can be vulnerable to share the pain that they're going through. So you really don't know what's going on in someone's life at all. So by reaching out, you really can change someone's life. And, someone just reached out to you, invited you to something, and you were like, I'm curious, I'm going to give that a go. And, took a leap of faith and did it. So if someone approaches you with something, listen, be open.
Absolutely. you can't assume it's ignorant in one way to wipe something off that you don't know anything about. So if you just take the time to listen and be open, because like they used to say that about the washing machine. Oh, I'm never going to use the washing machine because you can't wash my clothes like I do hand up. Now, washing machine's fine. Just that it's so many things. Why would you get a car when you can have a horse? Well, look at that. So yeah, it's just being open to things and just be curious, and I think this will be the way, communicating across the globe. It's just so easy with this technology as well. I mean, it's you can reach people over. Deaf people can do it. Blind people can do Braille and talk about it. It's not just for it's for everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kaye, for coming on and sharing. I know that, your story is going to impact and inspire other people. So, get in touch with Kaye and reach out to her and, give her some, leave some comments if you're watching the replay of this, and, just share some love on Kaye for being brave to come on video and share her story. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a great day.